Here. Here. No, noticed that. Okay. All right. Oh, there's one. Circling back. Of course, we missed you. I know Mr. Tyre is, and Mr. McGowan are, it's, here? Okay. Well, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have Mr. Hofstein and Mr. Jobson joined us. Great. All right, we have a quorum. Great. All right, if we could all rise and say the pledge to the flag. Great, thank you. So we have on our agendas tonight, first is item 1A, which is referral number 6713, a local law amending the Rockland County Code. Chapter 5, local law number 7 of 1985 is amended by local law number 15 of 1997, local law number 3 of 2002, and local law number 1 of 2011. And chapter 101, local law number 1 of 1985 is amended by local law number 15 of 1997 and local law number 1 of 2011 for the purpose of adopting a redistricting plan in compliance with the results of the 2020 census with new district lines to take effect January 1st, 2024. This is what we are calling Map B. It is in front of everyone. I will move it, seconded by Mr. Hofstein. On the question, so we have our consultant, Phil Chonigman, here with us tonight. Phil, if you can take us through this map. I know that it differs in some ways from Map A, which this committee voted out at its last session. So take it away, Phil.
Okay, thank you, members of the legislature and members of the committee for having me back again. I'm pleased to report that we've been able to come up with a second map for your consideration, which addresses some of the issues that have been raised by members of the community and members of the legislature. And essentially what this plan does, I'm sharing it on the screen here. Can you guys see it on the screen in front of you? And it should be visible to those participating from home on the WebEx. Let me zoom in on it a little bit to show you, but the broad picture here is that the changes between the previous plan that was adopted a couple of weeks ago, or at least sent on to the full legislature for consideration, the difference between that map and this one here is concentrated in the Clarkstown and Orangetown areas of the county. Everything within districts 1, 2, and 3 in Stony Point and Haverstraw stayed exactly the same, as did everything in the town of Ramapo. So let me zoom to the other areas over here so we can take a closer look. That's the Stony Point Haverstraw. Again, no change from what was presented in Plan A. Ramapo, no change in what was presented in Plan A. And then we take a look at Clarkstown. Here there were a number of changes, and as well as in Orangetown. Let me give people a moment to look that over just to get a feel for it. And then Orangetown over here. So the main differences in these maps, they were adjusted to, in part, make the districts a little more compact, and to address some of the concerns people had about the cores of the existing districts, which there was a lot of disruption within the Clarkstown and Orangetown areas because of the relative loss of population compared to the rest of the county. The big increases in the county were, of course, in Ramapo in Haverstraw, and the relative populations in Clarkstown and Orangetown went down. So in the end, that combined region lost essentially one full county legislative district. And in so doing, it resulted in the need to make a lot of changes within. And the question was what approach to take. We had one possible solution with Plan A, and I was tasked with coming up with a second one for your consideration that took into account the cores of the existing districts to try and minimize the disruptions to the degree possible. So over here, we have a comparison of the two maps for Plan A on your left and Plan B on your right for Clarkstown. As you can see, it did, I think, successfully make the districts a bit more compact. It retained more of the core of the existing district that currently has Nanuet and Pearl River. This is being called District 9. District 9 is currently in the center, more towards the center of Clarkstown, and District 15 extends into Chestnut Ridge and Ramapo. So we renumbered it so that the district that was essentially added to, sorry about that, that was added to Ramapo because of the population increase. That one got the number 15, which was under the current legislative districts shared with three communities. It was partially in Ramapo, mostly in Chestnut Ridge area, as well as Orangetown and Clarkstown. Again, the overall concept of these maps, this is no different in Plan B than in Plan A, was to minimize the back and forth over the town boundary lines that existed. There were districts 5, 9, 14, and 15. All were going back and forth over those town boundaries. And we tried to minimize that in all the plans that we've been considering. So in this case, only District 14 carries some of Ramapo, but is mostly in Clarkstown. That's because after you create all the Ramapo districts, there's some population left over. That's still true. So District 15 now is the number that's assigned to the one based in Chestnut Ridge. District 9 saw the most change from what the current boundary is. It's basically an amalgamation of 9 and 15. Whereas in Plan A, the core of the district was more centered on the existing District 9, whereas in Plan B, it was more centered on the existing District 15. So that essential core of the district reflects the shift there. You can see the one on the map on the right, the area in purple on the lower left versus the beige color in the lower left in Plan A. So that's the main difference there. And then in the other areas, you can see there's not a great deal of difference in District 5 at the top left of Clarkstown region. District 10 changed only a little bit, taking in a little more in the center of Clarkstown, taking up some of the area that was shed from District 9 and losing Upper Nyack to District 11. District 11 needed population to get to its total numbers, and as things were shifting around, population needed to be added to 11 from somewhere. It came from Upper Nyack. And then we have the area in, let's shift down to the Orangetown maps. And you can see here that what it did is let's wait for it to load up. It is Not loading on the screen yet. Okay. You have it? Okay, it's not loading
No,
on
we
my
have
screen
it.
yet. Okay.
Right.
So what you have there is in Plan A, we were able to have two districts fully within Orangetown. But when we shifted District 9 to make it more compact and more in line with the existing District 15 as the core of that district, what happened is District 16 needed to shift, the orange one needed to shift a little to the east, and District 17 therefore took on the West Nyack region that's currently in District 17, plus a little bit more there to make up the population difference. So that was kind of a counterclockwise rotation between those three districts. And that's the essential difference. There's no difference at all in terms of the overall population numbers. The deviations are still within the 2.5% range up and down that we were required to do. And in fact, it's significantly less than that. Let me go to the population tables. See here. Let me know when it's loaded on your screens.
It's loaded here.
Okay. The population ranges from a negative 188 to a positive 247 for Plan B, which is a difference of negative 0.94% to plus 1.24%. So we're well within the ideal range that we were seeking, much closer to up and down 1%. In addition, we have the minority districts still in effect in District 3, which retains its minority population, Hispanic population of 64%, actually 61% voting age population, which is how the courts tend to look at this data for Voting Rights Act compliance. District 8 is a minority district that has a combined minority population, voting age of about 74%, of which 42% is roughly 42% is non-Hispanic Black population. So it's a distinct Black plurality population in District 8. And the third minority district was created by making some shifts. We were able to get to a population, voting age population, minority population of 60%, of which 35% is the plurality from the Hispanic community. So we actually have one solid Hispanic district in District 3, two other minority districts in the county under these plans, both A and B have the same numbers. One of which is plurality African American, the other is plurality Hispanic. So
just a question, and that's
yes.
an improvement on where we are currently, right? With our existing lines.
Yeah, it was a bit muddled in the Spring Valley area. As you know, the Hispanic population has grown quite a bit throughout the county, and that includes the Spring Valley area. So the District 8 that 10 years ago had been plurality Black was no longer that currently. So we were able to craft a plan that actually retained that Black district for the county under this new plan, either of these plans, while still creating a new minority district that was plurality Hispanic. So we were able to balance those interests, those communities of interest, as well as the compliance with both state and federal Voting Rights Act.
All right. Are there any questions from committee members? All right. Thank you, Phil. So with that, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? It carries unanimously. Let me go back to the adoption of the minutes of October 6, 2022. I'll move them, seconded by Mr. Hofstein on the question. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. And then we've got referral number 6713, item 1B, which is setting a date for a public hearing with respect to a local law amending the Rockland County Code, Chapter 5, Local Law Number 7 of 1985, as amended by Local Law Number 15 of 1997, Local Law Number 3 of 2002, Local Law Number 1 of 2011, and Chapter 101, Local Law Number 1 of 1985, as amended by Local Law Number 15 of 1997, and Local Law Number 1 of 2011 for the purpose of adopting a redistricting plan in compliance with the results of the 2020 census, with new district lines to take effect January 1st, 2024. I'll move it, second by Mr. Hofstein. On the question, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. So at tonight's full legislature meeting, we will be setting a date for an additional public hearing, which will be held at a date to be determined by the chair, but I believe it'll be at the next full legislature meeting. All right, anything else?
Anything that you want to get on record? Okay.
All right, move to adjourn. I'm sorry.
We had one issue with the original map A. It was a technical change. It's something that was being worked out with the Department of Planning. Phil, could you just explain what that is? And that map with the change will be laid on the table tonight for the next public hearing as well, correct?
Not laid on the table tonight, it'll just. The maps for the new public hearing, I believe, if we pick the next date, which is November 1st, they're going to go on the desk on Monday. So both Plan A with this small technical change that Phil will explain and Plan B, which you just voted out, they will both be on the desks on Monday.
Okay.
Yes, so Phil, if you can just explain the technical issue.
The paperwork directly in front of me, but I can do it from memory.
Right.
Without giving the exact block numbers. There was a file that was prepared by the county planning department that outlined a series of census boundaries that they used in doing the census counts, where they created census blocks in places where there is no actual street. They sometimes put in imaginary lines connecting to areas. And we wanted our blocks to coincide with actual boundary features that are either municipal boundaries or visible boundaries. They had asked that I stay away from these imaginary boundary lines that the Census Bureau creates. So in doing a review, meticulous review, I uncovered one instance in which I had accidentally, in Plan A, included a boundary line along one of those features. And it was a boundary line between legislative districts 8 and 4 in the Hillcrest area right along the border with New Square. So in order to eliminate that as a legislative district boundary, which creates some complications for creating election districts and things of that sort, we can move one census block from District 8 into District 4. It consists of only 59 people. It actually coincides with the boundary between Election District 10 and Election District 87 in the town of Clarkstown. So it actually makes things easier for the Board of Elections to implement. And it would also have a slight population total adjustment. Actually works to the benefit because it goes from a larger district into a slightly smaller district. So it's just one census block that's being moved between those two districts in Hillcrest in order to meet with the county's planning department criteria not to use these types of boundaries.
Okay. All right. All right, so with that, I'll move to adjourn, seconded by Mr. Hofstein. On the question, all in favor? Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you, folks.
Are we still live streaming?
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay. Do you remember that?
What are we doing?
Yes, you're right. The public hearing, once we finish it, it'll be, once it says it'll stay open until 7:30 to allow people to submit
All right.
any email.
Well, you're going to say that
Say that.
about all your,
That's separate. All right, I can say.
do it all at
I can
once.
say it.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that.
Can't believe she's a senior.
I want to welcome everybody to the Rock County Legislature for October 19th, 2022, at 7 PM. Mr. Clerk, you please take the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Carey. Thank you. Good evening. Legislator Cornell. Thank you. Good evening. Legislator Earl. Legislator Falsiglia. He was here. I'll circle back. Legislator Foley. Legislator Grant. Legislator Hofstein. Legislator Jobson. Legislator McGowan. Is absent. Legislator Santulli. Is absent. Legislator Soskin. Thank you. Legislator Tyre is absent. Legislator Weider.
There's Charles here.
Falsiglia, I see his return. Very good. Okay. Mr. Weider, I'll circle back in a second. I think he was here. Legislator Wolf.
Here,
Legislator Yeager.
Here.
Vice Chairwoman Paul. Mr. Weider, one last time. Okay, we'll correct that. He's not in the room, absent. Chairman Hood,
Here.
we have Mr. Falsiglia is here, yes. 13 members present, 4 absent, with probably 1 amendment. Is that correct, Mary? Did I get that right? Thank you. 13, 4.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Toole. Next, we will recognize the Honorable Christopher J. Carey of District 9 for the salute to the flag and the invocation. One nation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we praise you for your care for all humanity. We thank you for all the gifts that you've bestowed upon us. We ask you to protect our troops and first responders who stand in harm's way. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Legislator Carey. Oh, and Aaron Weider has joined us. Next, we go to adoption of minutes, October 6th, 2022, moved by Legislator Grant, second by Legislator Yeager. Any amendments or changes to those minutes? Hearing none. All in favor? All opposed? Passes unanimously. Just want to make sure. Okay. Comments from a chairperson. I think I'd be remiss if I do not recognize first appearance of Legislator Cornell in quite some time. We want to just say welcome back, and we're so glad to see you. And how about a big round of applause? No? It's great to see you. It really is. It's been a long couple of years for everybody. Next we have comments from legislators. Anyone else? Okay, sure. Legislator Cornell, why don't you go first?
Today is actually a very special day. It's 50 years ago plus 1 day that something wonderful happened, and that was it's 50 years and 1 day since the sloop Clearwater had a number of people, friends of staff, friends, who took a boat, which was well known to most of us here, the Clearwater, from the leading Hudson Valley environmental group, Clearwater, and Riverkeeper and Scenic Hudson sailed on the sloop to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the passage of the Clean Water Act, which was passed in October 18th, in 1972. The power of grassroots advocacy propelled Clearwater's sale to Washington, D.C. in 1970, delivering numerous hundreds of signatures to Congress from Hudson Valley residents demanding federal action to clean up and protect our nation's waterways. During this visit to Washington, Clearwater founder Pete Seeger lent his voice to a multimedia presentation before the public and members of Congress, which the Washington Post called stunning and frightening. It was this presentation that played a key role in turning the tide in favor of the passage of the Clean Water Act 2 years later. Additionally, I want to highlight that clean water, clean air, and green jobs will be on the ballot this November, very soon, on Election Day. And I urge everyone to vote yes, because be sure to vote your ballot to vote yes, because it will have a proposition for the Environmental Bond Act. And you have to remember to turn your ballot over to see that Bond Act and vote for it, hopefully. This year, voters will have the opportunity to vote on an Environmental Bond Act for the first time in 25 years. The 2022 Bond Act will fund New York State investment in projects to protect clean drinking water, upgrade critical infrastructure, roads, sewer systems, drinking water pipes, support local jobs, improve public health, conserve wildlife habitat, and increase access to public waterfronts, parks, and nature centers by allowing New York State to take on debt to fund specific projects. Those of us who know how critical it is to do what? To have public support on issues like these really need to lead the way. And I wanted to be sure that everyone was aware that that's going to be on the ballot in just a couple of weeks. So thank you very much for listening, and I'm thrilled to be back with all of you. So,
That's great. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. Anybody else? Legislator Falsiglia.
Thank you. I know everyone is more focused right now about redistricting, which in some respects contributes to the entertainment value of our politics. But there are many more pressing issues, at least in my opinion. And I want to just lay one out here tonight. On Friday, October 7th, I visited Ramapo Supervisor Mike Specht. I went to his office, even though he lives around the block from me, regarding a Sewer District 1 matter. While there, I said to him that disparaging remarks made by Supervisor Phillips and Homan over the years in their capacity as Rockland Green board executives against the Hightor Animal Shelter have had the unintended consequence of giving donors pause or concern about donations, leading to a decrease in donations. And I said to him, no matter how this turns out, the only loser are the animals. Mr. Speck fully agreed and said he would speak with his colleagues about turning down any of the rhetoric. They say Hightor has been mismanaged, and full disclosure, I am now on the Hightor board. So everyone will have the pleasure of dealing with me. I could say Rockland Green is mismanaged. Anyone can make a statement with no context, and people will just take it on face value because of the source. They like the person, it's an elected official, whatever it may be. We all know Hightor previously had some internal problems, but the board has changed out. Every business has internal problems. If I remember correctly, Rockland Green dismissed their director a couple of years ago. Didn't Clarkstown have all kinds of drama with the Chief Sullivan situation? And what about Ramapo and all their financial mismanagement and arrests over the last decade? Remember the ice skating rink that never made a nickel and cost $100,000 only to melt and damage the infield at Boulder Stadium? In fact, Mr. Speck even said to me, do you know anyone who wants the rink? It's in the DPW lot. And what about the previous mismanagement at Rockland County Sewer District 1? When you have a problem, you correct it. And unlike government as cited above, ITOR's problems have not cost the taxpayers a dime. Okay? It's a cost of doing business to have problems. Before leaving, I asked him to explain to me how Rockland Green plans to manage an animal shelter for $300,000 or less. The approximate amount that towns, including Orangetown up until recently, were annually contributing. He advised he could not discuss that with me, and he was legitimately up against the meeting since I dropped in unannounced. My last words were, "You can't." I don't know who the architect of this scheme is. I'm sure we can guess, but I am challenging or inviting every Rockland Green board member to publicly explain a cost-benefit analysis regarding this takeover. Because the way I see it, that this is going to cost way more than $300,000 a year. And I think the public's entitled to know why and exactly what it is going to cost if this goes through. You know, as a taxpayer and a resident, I'm sort of troubled by that. Just because someone says, well, it's Rockland Green's money, not the county's money, that really, the taxpayers are one and the same. So, again, I would call on every member of Rockland Green Board to come forward and make a statement on this. And I know it's some of you probably don't care one way or the other. Others I know are not for this and think it's a joke. And others will just go along to get along. Thank you, Chairman Hood.
Okay, thank you. Well, I certainly have an answer to that, but I guess we'll leave it for another day, as a member of that board.
I'm
Okay?
sorry,
As a member of Rockland Green, I'll answer that some other time, okay?
please.
Next, we have special order of the day. All right, anybody else want to speak before we move on? Okay, hearing none. Special order of the day, Mr. Tully, please read the public hearing
Yes.
notice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Legislature of Rockland County at its legislative chambers, 11 New Hempstead Road, New City, Rockland County, New York, on the 19th day of October 2022 at 7:05 p.m. prevailing time, to consider adoption of a local law amending the Rockland County Code, Chapter 5, Local Law Number 7 of 1985, as amended by Local Law Number 15 of 1997, Local Law Number 3 of 2002, and Local Law Number 1 of 2011, in Chapter 101, Local Law Number 1 of 1985, as amended by Local Law Number 15 of 1997, and Local Law Number 1 of 2011. For the purpose of adopting a redistricting plan in compliance with the results of the 2020 census, with new district lines to take effect January 1st, 2024. Video conferencing will also be used to conduct this meeting pursuant to Rockland County Local Law Number 6 of 2022. Members of the public who do not wish to attend the public hearing in person and instead wish to view it in real time should go to the webpage of the Rockland County Legislature at http://rocklandgov.com/departments/county-legislature for instructions on how to view the meeting. Recordings of the meeting, all documents and records, including meeting minutes, shall be posted and made available on the webpage of the Rockland County Legislature at http://rockland.gov, it's gov.com/departments/county-legislature/period. In-person comments will not be accepted. However, anyone who wishes to provide comments for the public hearings is directed to email their comments to greenbud@co.rockland.ny.us up until 7:30 p.m. October 19th, 2022, or via mail or hand delivery during business hours 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. up until October 19th, 2022. Comments will be provided to members of the legislature and incorporated into the record of the public hearing. This notice is by order of the Legislature of Rockland County, dated September 30th, 2022, New City, New York.
Thank you, Mr. Toole. I'm going to give council a moment to explain where we're at with public comment because of the rules that are in place at this point.
Actually, that notice pretty much spelled it out, but just to be clear, we are operating under local law number 6 of 2022, which permits legislators to participate remotely in certain specified circumstances. And when we believe that somebody is going to be availing themselves of that, as part of the notice, as Mr. Toole just read, says that this will be live streamed. Members of the public can choose instead of coming in to watch it from the live stream. And as part of that, the law requires us to treat, just as the legislators participating remotely are treated the same as the legislators in the room, members of the public, both virtual and in the room, are required to be treated the same. Since we do not have the mechanism at this point for public comment to be provided virtually, they're not participating online. Therefore, what has been done since we began this way back in the day, early days of COVID, is that any public comments that wish to be submitted, either at a general public participation or for the public hearing itself, must be submitted in email. That way, every member of the public is treated the same. All emails that have been submitted have been distributed to all members of the legislature. They have received everything. And for the public hearing, they are going to be made part of the public record. Is that clear?
And it's open till 7:30 tonight for that public hearing.
Correct.
And that goes for, okay, so the public hearing is officially open.
Just a point of order, that,
Yeah.
again, the comments can also be submitted in person and in writing prior to close of business today, correct?
No, in-person comments? No,
Handwritten.
handwritten.
Handwritten. that's
I'm
what-
sorry.
They could be submitted.
Of course,
in
handwritten,
right.
emailed, anything can be hit. The public hearing now is open until 7:30. It can be submitted, and they will all be accepted and made part of the public record.
Correct, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, public hearing is officially open. And we leave it open till 7:30, right? Yeah. No. We've received many comments and it'll be part of the record. So we'll leave that open till 7:30 and then we can close it after that. Or we may have to close it next meeting, I guess, right? We can do that?
No, we'll do a motion. Do the motion to close at 7:30. You can do that now.
No, oh, okay. All right, so have a motion to close that public hearing at when it reaches 7:30. Motion by Legislator Grant, second by Legislator Soskin. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that public hearing will be closed at 7:30.
Now, do you want to explain also change, the technical change? Do you care?
No, it's okay. It's not worth it. Let's see, presentation of,
Public participation.
okay,
But just they emailed it.
okay, yeah, public participation, it's the same rules, so you can email your comments on any topic, doesn't have to be on redistricting. Number 9, presentation of communications, there are none. Unfinished business, there is none. We'll go to reports of standing committees, Budget and Finance Committee, Legislator Weider.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item 11A1, referral number 1021, amending the 2022 capital budget to increase funding in the amount of $4,200,000 for the new total amount not to exceed $26,500,000 for building utility plant renovations and improvements on the capital project number 4466, and I so move.
Moved by Legislator Weider, second by Legislator Hofstein. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 1B, bond resolution of the County of Rockland, New York, adopted today October 19, 2022, authorizing additional financing with Building E utility plant renovation improvement, stating the estimated maximum cost thereof is $26,500,000, appropriating $4,200,000 thereof. Therefore, in the addition of $22,300,000 previously appropriated for such purpose, and authorizing the issuance of $4,200,000 bonds of said county to finance said additional appropriation, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Soskin. Voted on the question. Oh, yeah. Okay, on the question, anybody have any comments? No? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Earl. Thank you, Mr. Falsiglia.
Yes.
Legislator Foley. Legislator Grant.
Yes.
Legislator Hofstein. Legislator Jobson. Legislator McGowan. Legislator Soskin. Legislator Weider.
Yes.
Legislator Wolf. Legislator Yeager.
Yes.
Thank you. Legislator Carey. Legislator Cornell.
Yes.
Vice Chairwoman Paul. And Chairman Hood.
Yes,
Thank you. That passes unanimously with 15 ayes.
thank you.
Item number 1C, authorizing the advance of general fund monies in the amount not to exceed $4,200,000 for building and utility plant renovation improvements on the capital project number 4466, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Grant. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 1D, accepting the bid, approving a contract in excess of $100,000 in the total amount not to exceed $18,143,000, and authorizing the issuance of the letter of award for the bid by the county executive with Towser Brothers, Inc. under RFP/RC 2021-4466001 for the Building E utility plant renovation improvement on the capital project 4466, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Cornell. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 2, referral number 2825, approving accepts the Federal Transit Administration Grant in New York 2022-02300 in the amount of $725,372 from the United States Department of Transportation, Federal Transit Administration under Urbanized Area Formula Program under Section 53391 of Title II of the U.S. Code for the term from August 19, 2022 to March 31st, 2025, and authorizing the electronic execution of all necessary instruments, documents, certifications, and assurance by the county executive, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Earl. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 3, referral number 3977, approving entering into agreement in excess of $100,000 new total not to exceed $226,986 under RFP/RC 2022-007 with Buckhorst Fish and Jackie Mart Inc., DBA BFJ, planning to determine the feasibility of developing a walk-in bicycle path from Palisades, New York to Stony Point, New York, for the term from August 25, 2020 through August 24, 2023, with 1-year renewal option term, and authorizing the execution by the county executive, and I so move.
By legislator Weider, second by legislator Wolf. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 4, referral number 5906, approving exercise the third renewal option term and additional purchase in excess of $100,000 from NRP Group, Inc. in the additional amount of $148,668 for the new total amount not to exceed $743,340 for form purchase on RFP RC 2018-048 for the installation and operation of odor control system at the various pump stations for the Rockland County Sewer District number for the term from December 1st, 2018 through November 30th, 2023, with no renewal options remaining, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator McGowan. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 5, referral number 9019, approving the third amendment, third extension of the agreement, next $100,000 additional amount of $75,400 for the new total amount not to exceed $297,700 on the RFP RC 2021-001 with Phyllis Moreno for strategic planning and evaluation of county youth services to County Youth Bureau for the term from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2023, with 1 renewal option term remaining, authorizing the execution by the county executive, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Jobson. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 6, referral number 3657, approving the acceptance of grants in the additional amount of $300,000 for a total amount $739,000 $1,060, no county tax dollars, for the provision of services qualified individuals with unmet needs for New York State Office of the Aging for the period from April 1st, 2021 through December 1st, 2022, and authorize execution of all necessary documents. And I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Hofstein. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 7, referral number 8281, approving acceptance of extension from the New York State Department of Health to the Rockland County Department of Health to continue to the Women, Infants, and Children's Program, WIC, in the additional amount of $2,317,128, no county tax dollars, for the period from October 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, for a new total grant award of $6,860,516, no county tax dollars, for full period from October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2023, and authorizing execution of necessary instrument documents of the county executive, including the amendment to the agreement with the New York State Department of Health, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Earl. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 8, referral number 9595, approving the fourth extension and the amendment to the agreement, X $100,000 additional amount of $457,724 for new total amount not to exceed $2,288,620 under RFP RC 2018-027 with Catholic Charities Community Services Rockland County, Inc. to operate the Emergency Warming Center, Dr. Robert L. Yeager Health Center for the term from November 1st, 2018 through April 30th, 2023, with 1 6-month renewal option term remaining, and authorizing its execution of the county executive, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Carey. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 9, referral number 7099, approving acceptance of additional grant funds in the amount of $150,000, no county tax dollars, U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's HUD to Rockland County Department of Social Services, Administration of New York State Homes and Community Renewal through its New York State Housing Trust Fund Corporation for Landlord Rent Incentives and Security Deposit System Programs under the Section 8 voucher program, authorizing execution of all necessary instruments and documents of the county executive, and I so move.
By legislator Weider, second by legislator Foley. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 10, referral number 9263, approving acceptance of 2021 American Rescue Plan Act additional grant funds for the New York State Office of Children and Family Services amount of $96,588, no county tax dollars. And Administration of Community Living with the Rockland County Department of Social Services to provide adult protective services, APS, for the period of August 1st, 2021 through September 30th, 2024, and authorize the county executive to execute all necessary instruments and documents, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Falsiglia. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 11, referral number 9505, approving amendment and extension of the agreement with the next $100,000 Mental Health Association Rockland, Inc. to provide mobile outreach services to individuals who are homeless or at risk of homelessness and or vulnerable to serious acute health conditions, additional amount of $103,272 for the period from October 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2023, for a total contract amount not to exceed $319,742 for the period from commencement date of April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2023, and authorizing its execution by the county executive, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Yeager. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 12, referral number 2973, approving acceptance of funds from the New York State Office of Mental Health, amount of $651,902 to the New York State Office of Addiction Services and Supports, an amount of $161,712 to the New York State Office of People with Developmental Disabilities, an amount of $3,398 to Rockland County Department of Mental Health for a total amount of $817,012, no county tax dollars, for the calendar year of 2022, which are to be distributed to the contract agencies listed on and in the amounts listed on the next Schedule A, and authorize the county executive to execute all necessary instrument documents, including the applicable contract amendments, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by vice chairwoman Paul. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 13, referral number 6704A, approving intermunicipal agreements with the County of Rockland, Town of Haverstraw, for the purpose of reimbursement for overtime crisis intervention training relating to the Town of Haverstraw Police Department's participation project Connect for the periods of September 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2023, in amount not to exceed $11,000, and authorize the execution of intermunicipal agreement by the county executive, and I so move.
Moved by legislator Weider, second by legislator Soskin. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously. Oh, yes, that's okay. It's just closed automatically, yeah. The public hearing is now closed.
Okay. Item number 13B, approve an intermunicipal agreement between the County of Rockland and Village of Suffolk for the purpose of reimbursement of overtime crisis intervention training related to the Village of Suffolk Police Department participation in Project Connect for the period of October 1st, 2022 through to September 30, 2023, in an amount not to exceed $5,000, and authorize an execution of an intermunicipal agreement with the county executive, and I so move.
By legislator Weider, second by legislator Falsiglia. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Item number 14, referral number 4817, setting the date for public hearing regarding a local law amending the partial tax exemption of certain real property owned by persons 65 years of age or older, and I so move.
By legislator Weider, second by legislator Cornell. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
Mr. Chair, this concludes the report of the Budget and Finance.
Mr. Clerk, you announced that public hearing date? Well, it's Tuesday, November 1st, 2022 at 7:05. Okay, got it. Okay, so that's the end of Budget and Finance. Multi-Service Committee, Legislator Soskin.
We have no report this evening, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Planning and Public Works, Legislator Yeager.
No report.
Government Operations Committee, Legislator Grant.
No report.
Environmental Committee, Legislator Cornell.
No report this evening, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. 11F, Public Safety Committee, Legislator Earl.
Referral number 8825. In the support of the U.S. Congressional Bill S. 2683 in the U.S. Senate and H.R. 4965 in the U.S. House of Representatives, the 9/11 Responder and Survivors Health Funding Correction Acts. I'll move it.
Moved by legislator Earl, second by legislator Grant, Carey, Wolf. Everybody want a second? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, sure. On the question,
Can I be added as a co-sponsor?
okay, sure. Anybody else? Guess everybody would like to co-sponsor that too.
Yes.
Okay,
On the
everyone
question,
on that.
Mr. Chairman?
Sure. On the question, legislator Wolf.
Just very, very briefly, we have the existing World Trade Center health program, which provides funding for the medical care for 9/11 responders and survivors. And the analysis by the federal government shows that it needs additional funding in order to close a funding gap. Without the additional funding, it will run out of money prior to the natural expiration of its term in 2090, if you could believe that's the number that we're talking about. So this would deliver $3 billion in supplemental funding to close the funding gap. And these are the types of things that I'm very glad that we're able to come together in support of. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, legislator Wolf. Anybody else on the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously.
That concludes public safety, Mr. Chair.
Economic Development Committee, legislator Earl.
No report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Reports of special committees, Special Legislative Committee on Redistricting. Let's say legislator Wolf.
Thank you. Do we need to, counsel? Right. We need a waiver, immediate need?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, moved by legislator Grant. Do I do that or? Is Alden, okay. We'll move that by legislator Grant and motion for immediate need, second by legislator Weider. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, it passes unanimously.
Great, thank you. This is item 12A1, referral number 6713, setting a date for a public hearing with respect to a local law amending the Rockland County Code, Chapter 5, Local Law Number 7 of 1985, as amended by Local Law Number 15 of 1997, Local Law Number 3 of 2002, and Local Law Number 1 of 2011, and Chapter 101, Local Law Number 1 of 1985, as amended by Local Law Number 15 of 1997, and Local Law Number 1 of 2011, for the purpose of adopting a redistricting plan in compliance with the results of the 2020 census, with new district lines to take effect January 1st, 2024. And I move it.
Moved by legislator Wolf, second by legislator Hofstein. On the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. That public hearing will be held on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022 at 7:10 PM.
Thank you. That concludes the report.
All right. Thank you. Number 13, new business, no new business that I know of. Number 14, reports of county officers. We're going to receive and file a 2021 Rockland County Boards and Commissions Diversity and Inclusion, Section 22-11 Annual Report. We'll also receive and file a required certification for calendar year 2021 for the election expenses from the Board of Elections of the County of Rockland dated October 3rd, 2022. So those will be filed with the clerk's office. Motion to adjourn, Legislator Weider, and second by Legislator Jobson. On the question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Passed unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Yankees start in 1 minute.
Good to see you too. Everything good?